So today we're gonna talk about the difference between CommonJS and ES6 models. So what are they? So let's start by saying that a very easy way to detect which one could be this. Let's go here, and when we use import, we are mostly using ES6 model, and when we are using cons and required, in this actually cons is not required. When we're using require from a file, this is gonna be mostly CommonJS model. So the difference between those is we need to start by the definition. So ES6 models, some JavaScript models, native support, like the native JavaScript models, and CommonJS are native Node.js models. So keeping that in mind, that when we have that, it's different because this is mostly for the browser. I mean, this is on the browser, and then as we have Node, we are be able to use it. I mean, the JavaScript models and the CommonJS models in both environments. So maybe you're wondering which one to use, when to use it, when to mix them, and yeah, what the hell is going on with these two. So the first thing that we need to do here is just detect that this start as an initiative for models, native model support for ES6 in the browser, I mean the JavaScript general ecosystem. And CommonJS, it was defined for Node. So Node, let's define Node for the runtime that let us run JavaScript outside the browser. So there is a little difference there. It uses, both of them, they use the same engine, which in most of the cases is gonna be the V8 engine from Google, but they have difference. But we are not here to talk about the difference between Node.js and the JavaScript running in the browser. So let's start by example. I just all the time like to learn by example. I think it's more easy, but just for me. So let's start by here. I have two examples on how to use ES model in order to export a function and use it in another file. And here I have util. Let me see. Here I have a CommonJS model. This is the CommonJS model export. So as you see the difference between this one and this one, the CommonJS model uses model.export that the name of the function, and then it goes to the function itself. In the ES models, we have export that keyword, and then function, and then we have the name of the function. Actually, we can export like arrow functions, which are defined like constants and so on. But let's just imagine like this difference for now. So here you start to see some difference. The exporting is doing with different keywords on both of the sides. So let's start for the second difference. So how can I use those files in one utility function? So let's start by using the CommonJS. Let's go right here. So how can I import this? So that way is the Node.js way. I mean the native way the Node.js port their CommonJS models. So you just need to define from the file. In this case, is a JS file. We will see a difference for them in a moment. And After, just redefine the name of that functions, and then we can just use it, right? So it's really easy. We have a lot of packaging that uses this way to import functions from a package, and then we have the the ES6 model way. So let's open that one. So it's gonna be here and it's gonna be here. So you will see these mostly. I am better to say that on the front-end applications, but we can use it. We can use that for the back-end application also. In this way, we have the import keyword, and then we have just the name of the functions. And as we see here, it's we don't have the necessity to use require anymore. We just say from. So this is kind of the way to import that models. We can use it at the same time. So in order to use, but if you were panning to the video, there is something peculiar here. It says the extension of these models is m.js, but we are not obligated to use that extension. We can, for example, if we are working in a JavaScript project, which is gonna have a package.json file, the only thing that we need to do is just add a type keyword, and then here it's gonna tell, okay, it's gonna use CommonJS, which is the default one, or it's gonna use model. So when we use this, we don't have the necessity to use m.js extensions. So that's kind of one of the main differences that they have. But I'm gonna mention something more peculiar that I'm not able to find here. So let's say which are the main and pros, cons and pros of using each one, each model system. So in this case, the ES6 model, it was created to standardize the model system of JavaScript, and it had become like the standardization for formatting or encapsulating JavaScript codes in order to reuse. So we are able to see it like in a lot of time. For example, look for the Lodash npm, right? Let's look for this package inside the npm model, and we see that here we have the required function. So this is for Node.js. So that is why you see this. Actually, when you're using Lodash, you can use also import. This is because this is from Node.js. So Lodash for browser. So let's go to lodash.com and let's look for the documentation. And right here, let me look for the just a salad. Yeah, it's not here. I think it was here, but we can use both of the ways to import, in this case, a model. That will depend on the configuration that we have on the project. In this case, it's telling that in Node.js is going to be loaded like this, but we can use import also if we have configured it correctly the project. As I mentioned before, you just need to add type model or configure the packaging method or the mixing program, in this case Webpack or the scripts, in order to load and read the packages as a model. So yeah, let's keep talking about the difference that we have. In common browsers, we have retrocompatibility with the CommonJS models and ES6 models, like I mentioned before in the Lodash component. So we can use both. We can just use require, and sometimes we can use import, and it will work. But obviously, it's not that recommended to use both ways, because when you're gonna like maintain that project, that is gonna be a little tricky to find the best way to just do that. So you can just choose just one. For example, you're mixing like one front-end project or one back-end project. We can choose one and just take that one, or try to use the common way, which is CommonJS for the node system and the import system for the front-end way. So that's gonna be like a little bit more logical to use. So try that and mix it in the future. Okay, so what else do we need to do? There is another article that I just found, which is really peculiar, which tells you a couple of the difference that we've been mentioned before. So this is from LoadRocket. It says front-end analytics. They have just really cool blocks here, and we're gonna do is just try to read it in a better way. Let me see. But this doesn't have support for the code syntax, as we see here. So here it's gonna tell us less like an example. When we do the same, we have a CommonJS format, we have an ES6 model format, and then we have Pradle models, which are gonna be imported by, I think, these models. And yeah, the only thing that is doing here is trying to show you that how to import these, and how this is not gonna work. For example, if you use require in an MJS file, it's not gonna work, or use import in a model that is not a ES6 model, it's not gonna work the same. So we have to take that into account. The only thing is that this is important to say, because newer Node.js versions, I don't know which specific versions actually, we can look for it, but it says it's an experimental features that we now can use import for all the CommonJS models. This is really cool, and we don't have to do that MJS, the ES6 extension. So we don't even have to type a model in the package.json file. So, but this is just an experimental feature. So we just need to check if the version that we are using at this point of time is able to achieve that. In other these cases, we can just use require for the CommonJS files in Node and import on the ES6 models. So other thing that is really important to see is CommonJS files are synchronous. This is really important. Come on, just type in here, are synchronous by default, and ES6 models are synchronous by default. So which tell us, like in this specific example, it's saying that we can deliberately load elements in different positions of time. So we have here maybe a clear winner for a bigger project. For example, if you need to load all the JS files synchronously, you will just wait for all them to load if they are just all CommonJS file. But if they are like imports, you can just load a front-end application, for example, or a back-end application more quickly, because you don't have to wait for them all to load. You just need to handle all the asynchronous way that you need to program, you need to work. So that's kind of different. So it is important, like in order to use that affirmation that we do. And yeah, I think as the conclusion says, like for this video and for all the comparisons and so on, the thing that we need to do is, okay, for all the versions of Node.js, it'll be like as they say, I'm agree with that guy. It will be like impractical to use import because it's not really well supported. CommonJS files are the default models for Node, and so they are really good supported. Yeah, all the libraries that you are gonna load are gonna work. But if you're in newer versions, you have the optional to use either one of those, just in the newer version. Otherwise, you'll have to check for each one if they can be imported as model or as a CommonJS model. So yeah, that's it. It was a long way today. I didn't share a video, so I hope that I'm back. It was thank you for a couple of friends that just remind me to do videos about JavaScript world, and so I hope I can do a really good quality videos in the coming weeks. So be panic about that, and yeah, I'll bring really cool depths that I have the opportunity to make in order to talk about JavaScript technical things or problems, interviews, tips, and so on. So yeah, be panic, subscribe, and see ya. Bye bye.